everybody, Norma here, and today we're going to be working on some scent work. And it's basically going to be, we have a happy scent or a positive scent, and then we're going to have a negative scent. I do not like the smell of almond, so that is my ugly scent. And for those of you that live in Florida, when you squish palmetto bugs, they smell like almonds. So that's like, ugh, disgusting. Come here. And this is Yogi, and she's going to be working with us today. She has not had any experience with this at all. So my positive scent or my happy scent is going to be lemon extract. And so you can use anything. I don't want something that you use that's very common, but I want something that's kind of pleasant for you. So my favorite smell is, or scent, is vanilla. So I have a tendency, if I buy a candle or hand lotion or soap, that I will gravitate towards vanilla or lavender. I like both of those, but mostly vanilla. Hey, quit your scratching. Quit. Okay, so when your dog itches like this, a lot of times it's just because they haven't maybe worn a collar or a particular thing that often, so don't think that they've got bugs or whatever. She's just kind of fussing with the collar, and which is telling me she needs to wear this a little bit more often. So I have just chosen lemon extract because I don't really use it as cleaning or you know, I just don't have a lot of that in the house. So you want something that is fairly pleasant for you, but you don't use it really, really often. So it's going to be kind of an unusual scent. So the lemon extract for her is going to be anything that is okay for her to play with or for her to touch. So I know several of you have some small kids, and so sometimes it's really great for you to put a tiny, tiny drop of something on your dog's toys or retrieve items or anything that they're allowed to touch, and then either not scenting your kids' toys, and then that's going to help your dog understand that the things that don't have that smell, as you keep telling them, no, leave it, no, leave it, no, leave it, you know, they're going to start figuring out that the stuff that does smell like lemon or whatever you use, the positive scent, is okay. Stuff that's naked or it doesn't have an odor, or you could use a negative if you want to. But the problem with that is with kids' toys, kids have so many toys that it's almost impossible for you to scent all of those toys and keep doing that. So you can just do your dog's toys and anything that you're going to ask your dog to retrieve. And the reason that we do this is because you have a retriever, or more than likely have a retriever of some kind. Poodles, Doodles, Goldens, Labs, or mixes of those all came from heavy retriever bloodlines, so they always have something in their mouth, it seems like. People call me, like even with pet dogs, and I'll say, okay, well, what kind of dog do you have? Oh, I have a Golden Retriever, or I have a Lab. And they're like, this dog will not. He just has stuff in his mouth all the time, and I can't stand it. And I'm like, retriever. Or people that get beagles will complain about the dog won't stop smelling things. It's a beagle, people. So you've got to make this a little bit easier on them and say, these things, these toys you can touch, and these things I don't want you to touch. Also, as a service dog, there's going to come a point in time where you might want your dog to retrieve your shoes or a bag or your hat or your keys or whatever. And if you've done too many leave it, leave it, leave it, don't touch my socks, don't touch my shoes, your dog, when you send him to get those items, he's going to be like, you told me not to touch those for the last 2 years. I'm not touching them. And I have seen dogs get to that point. Not our dogs, but dogs that we've worked with where, you know, they're like, I ain't touching nothing. We had a really, really nice guy come in with his Golden that was trained as a service dog, and that dog, for whatever reason, had been really, really corrected off of touching things. I spent a lot of time with him, and I finally told his owner, I said, this is just almost cruel, because you would tell him to get something and he'd start shaking. He was that. I don't know whether somebody used an electric collar or whatever the heck they did, but he was really like, I'm not touching anything. So we do have to be careful of that. So this is the happy scent. Here, baby. Yogi. Okay. She says, I'm bored, I'm itching. So this is just a tiny bit of that lemon extract. Please remember your dog's nose is very sensitive. I've got the container open just a little tiny bit. You can poke a hole in the top if you wanted to. I'm going to let her, good girl, and then I'm going to feed her. Okay, so I am just going to make this the happy smell. Good girl. And you could literally start this very, very early with a puppy, as early as maybe 4 or 5 weeks old, to where that their puppy toys in their box has this particular scent on it. So it's a very, you got to remember, scent is very primal. It's the first thing that we do is smell. I mean, before a baby nurses, he obviously learns the smell of his mom, learns the smell of milk, and that's his happy place is where that milk is. And obviously they learn that very, very quickly. Most, a lot of animals are born with their eyes closed and their ears are closed, but they learn smell very, very fast. So this is just going to be here. I don't have to stick this way down on her nose. It's just going to be here. Be careful about getting this stuff all over your hands because we don't want to cross-contaminate. For those of you that do scent work, yes, this is very sloppy. I understand that. But this is just, we don't want to have everything smelling like this, especially your hands. So if you want to wear some, cheapy thin gloves. There's a lot of gloves available since COVID. You can put those on, and in between the scents, you could take the gloves off just to make sure that you're not contaminating. Now, this is the nasty, icky, gross almond. For those of you that I like almonds, I just don't like the smell. It's really disgusting, especially the extract. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a negative, and again, some people, may not like this, but guess what? Life is about consequences. No. Good girl. Now, I'm just going to put that there. Walk away. Good girl. Good girl. So when she moves away from it, good dog. So this is going to be a leave it for her. And with this, I say no. No is my ugly word. If you find yourself saying no all the time, you're going to have to come up with something else. But no is my meet Jesus word. If I say no in my house, my dogs are like, oh, okay? And that's something really bad is going on, like possibly two of my dogs arguing over a toy or something. No is no. Oh, baby, she can smell this, so good girl. So if she walks past that, I am going to no. Good girl. Good girl. Come on. Yay! Now, when you do negatives, guys, you got to make a big deal when they walk away from that. Now, you have to be careful because this has a very bright red lid. So is she responding to that or the odor? So I would have to, oh, baby. Good girl. So if she avoids this, good girl. And that is about as much as I would do of this for one training session. That is yuck, leave it, don't touch it. So when you are working on your leave-its, you can combine this smell with anything that you want your dog to not touch. Now again, there's people out there that are probably kind of frowning right now because I told the dog no. Life is full of things that we should do and we shouldn't do. So teaching your dog that that's wrong is just part of life. And for trainers that are purists, I prefer not to do this, but these dogs live in people's homes. They are going to be told no. They are going to be, told don't chew the furniture, don't get the food off the tables, do all that kind of stuff. If you condition this correctly, you guys can actually put a little tiny bit of almond extract on the edge of your counter in your kitchen, and your dog will be like, oh, that's bad, okay? And again, conditioning the lemon to be very, very good girl. Oh, what a good girl you are. That's a good girl. So this is the happy thing. That's the stinky, ugly thing. I'm not going to show you guys today, but there is also a way of doing a, it's a negative. I don't want to even call it a correction, but it is, there was a gentleman, he's passed away, really, really great guy that created something called Mickey discs. They use them a lot in England. Every now and then you'll see them. They look like little tambourine cymbals, and you can work with dogs on teaching them that's the sound of those is a no. I have used them on very, very food aggressive dogs, and it's amazing how they work. So the next time I will actually demonstrate that for you guys to show you. But basically, if you have something that you don't want the dog to touch, even if it's a pile of food on the ground, you can add that little smell to a Kleenex or anything and just be like, you don't touch that. So if you have an area in your house that your dog is repeatedly getting corrected for. You know, let's say I don't want to do this with her because Jeff is going to have his own rules. But let's say I don't ever want my dog on the couch. You could literally put like a small piece of Kleenex or a piece of cotton or something like that on the edge of your couch, and you know, teach the dog that that smell and that piece of furniture is not something that he should mess around with. But again, you've got to be 100%. It's always on the couch, never on the couch, or only when you ask him on the couch. You have to be specific with this. You can't be like, you're wet, you're dirty and smelly, and not on the couch. Oh, you just came back from the groomer, now you can get on the couch. Dogs don't think like that. So just be careful with this. I would suggest that you work with somebody and we will show you more on how to do the negatives, but it is literally don't touch. We've actually done this with people who have elderly pets that, you know, you get a new puppy and the puppy is just really aggravating the older pet, and we've actually put some of the almond oil on the dog's collar, and that teaches the young dog, don't go near that. So if a negative scent is done correctly, it really will help you. But I really want you to concentrate more on the positive. So everything that your dog is supposed to have has a little tiny bit of lemon on it. So we have Mr. Teddy Bear here that he's got a, we didn't hang Teddy Bear. We're actually teaching a retrieve, so don't think I'm too weird. It's not a noose on the bear. We have to be clear. But this little bear would have a little tiny drop of lemon on it because this is something that she's going to be allowed to have. So, and when I say tiny drop, you guys can literally put this on a Q-tip and rub this in a little tiny spot on the bear. You might have to repeat that once every month at the most, and just rub all of your dog's toys with lemon or whatever the heck that you guys decide. And it really will help your dog differentiate between the things that he's supposed to touch and things that are a no-go.